To me, anxiety feels like a ball in a pinball machine that's just ricocheting off of everything.
It's tense, and your mind worries about everything. I have generalized anxiety disorder, and so it isn't just one certain type of thing. I worry about everything, and yeah. And your mind can get carried away with worrying, and you start imagining the what ifs and everything.
There's something along the lines of like being constricted, I think, in a way. But I think there's a lot of inability to move. And I think that there's not as much like elasticity and freedom in the way that we approach things in our lives, right? I think it also restricts creativity, which I think is one of the things that makes it really hard to understand how to address treating depression and anxiety and things like that.
I remember saying to Dr. Keller one time, I have a family member who's a child who's extremely shy. What is that all about, and how can I help that child? And he says, Laura, that is a diagnosis of anxiety. Some of that children just go through, but most of it is it's a anxiety. So you have to find out about that child, what they're feeling anxious about. And there are those children who are small who stand behind mother's skirts or go behind a couch or if they don't want to meet somebody or they can't talk to anybody or look at them. That's anxiety.
I meditate or try to meditate, try to just find like a quiet place and just not let my brain consume everything, because I feel like I think about things all the time, and everything, I don't know, it just feels like I said, my brain feels like it's going at 150 miles an hour constantly.
Another example I use is like a snow globe. Things get shooken up, and it's hard to see through because you have all these thoughts, feelings, emotions, worries. When that snow globe settles, the stuff hasn't gone away. Like, it's still there, but it's not in the whirlwind around you, and you can kind of see more clearly, and you can kind of see what's there.
Describe a panic attack.
I think the first thing I'd say is it feels like you're dying. It feels like you're going to die at any moment. I mean, the fear and anxiety are just off the charts.
It felt like my heart was going to explode, and I couldn't breathe fast enough. And mine came with being in enclosed spaces. Like one time I was on an airplane. One time I was in a 15-passenger van with 15 people. And I just thought, I can't claw my way out of here. What am I going to do?
I was like in 7th grade when it happened, and I called my mom, and she came and got me, and then I went to the emergency room because I thought I was having a heart attack. But I know it wasn't a heart attack, it was a panic attack. And it feels like a heart attack. And it feels like you're gonna die. And it scared me.
You feel like you're up 1,000 feet in the air on an airplane, just hanging on by the wings of the plane. And it gets real tiring if you have those over and over. It takes a toll on your blood pressure, your heart, everything. But they're quite frightening. I never ended up in the hospital. Some people end up in the hospital because of they think that you're having a heart attack. That never happened to me, but it pushed me to the edge, pushed me to the precipice where I wanted to take my life and end it.